Is the microphone on? I don't see. Is it on? Can you hear me? Where's the dog? What's up, guys? Cullen Gandy here, and welcome to my channel where I talk about all things personal finance, mortgage finance, and anything that gets you down the road to where you want to be financially. Today, I want to talk about a little bit of a personal subject to me, and that is how I deal with my adult ADD. I guess it's adult ADD now because I apparently am an adult, and how I sort of deal with that at the workplace or while I am doing work. Currently, I am working as a mortgage loan originator for a large online lender, InterFirst Mortgage. And what I do basically is I call different leads for sales, and I try to convince them to go with our mortgage product rather than somebody else's. A lot of times, ADD can cause you not to really fit in, or at least not to feel like you fit in with your colleagues around you. So even sort of connecting with clients and with your coworkers can feel like a job in and of itself. I'm not naturally somebody who just needs to feed off of a conversation and group meetings and things like this. It really can take a lot out of me, and I find that I'm pretty tired all of the time as a result. Ever since I was a kid, I always knew that I could lose track of things fairly easily, and I would not be able to sort of pay attention in certain classes that I didn't find interesting or didn't find fun to take part in. I definitely wouldn't be able to pay attention or even stay awake. And as a result, I think my knowledge of subjects like math especially sort of suffered. And it sort of hamstrung me for the rest of my adult life until I sort of got back around to learning about it. In my personal life as well, and I'm sure my girlfriend and my family can all attest, I definitely lose track of certain things. I've lost track of very expensive headphones. I'm constantly forgetting one of my three main things, which is my keys, my phone, and my wallet. And they're all sort of interspersed throughout the house in places that I wouldn't even be able to look for them. Now this seems like really small stuff, but actually one little missing link during the course of the day for me can snowball into really big problems. And that can even cause my relationships with my friends and family to suffer. For example, if I forget to charge my phone and I had made plans to go and hang out with a friend that I haven't seen in a long time, and then as I'm going to the place, the phone dies, and then I can't get to the place and I can't tell my friend that I'm not going to be able to show up, or that I don't have the directions to get there. But now, as an adult and working in the industry, here are the things that I do that help me stay on track and help me stay focused while I'm trying to be in that top tier of producers in whatever I'm doing, in this case, sales. By the way, guys, if you like videos about subjects like this, please feel free to just hit that like button for me, subscribe, hit the notification bell so I can notify you of just exquisite content just like this. You know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to bring you the content, receive the content. So the first really big thing that helps me get along through my work day is that I try to make all of my work objectives into daily routines. This means that I'm running my entire day through a process that I'm familiar with so that I can hit each of the notches during the day and be able to make sure that my quotas are attached to certain routines and rituals. For example, since I work at home and I start at 9, I like to wake up at the crack of 15 minutes before that at 8:45. And I like to go over and get myself a coffee, feed my dog, and jump right into my laptop, my work computer, on the CRM, the Customer Relationship Manager, and see just how many emails and how many problems have accumulated overnight. Now, when I'm reviewing all of those emails and maybe any of the missed calls that I might have had from the morning from normal, regular people that wake up at a reasonable hour, I hit each one of those emails as they come to me. So I look at one email and then I try to solve whatever that problem is. And I try not to multitask throughout the day, because chances are if I'm multitasking several different things, I'm not really multitasking. I'm just finishing one task and forgetting about another until somebody else brings it up. Another big part of that ritual for me, since I am a glorified telemarketer, is that I like to make calls consistently and set quotas for amount of calls and amount of emails per hour so that I can feel like I'm getting somewhere from where I started. The flip side of basing everything on ritual and routine in your industry is if your company changes anything about how your work is executed with the customer or just how your work is generally done throughout the day, this can really throw you off track. And actually, this is something that I am currently experiencing as my company now has switched from one kind of dialing system to another one. So, to help mitigate the problem of shifting from one familiar territory to another unfamiliar one, I usually try to rely on this second step, and this is one of the most important steps, and that is to remind myself to be coachable. If you're somebody who makes yourself easily coachable, then it's going to be a lot easier to transition between different kinds of operation. And I find that even though I am and try to be a fairly coachable person, I still, because of my ADD, can sort of get hung up if any major change happens. So it's really important to rely on your personal support system, whether that be your family or your friends or your dog, and your professional support system and your management and people you trust in your industry to help sort of guide you through. Or if you have ADD, you can sort of get lost and get overwhelmed kind of quickly. This is important because if there's a major change and you're not on board, you don't really gel with how things are currently going, things can get off track for you because that means that you're not really keyed in on what's going on and you can get left behind. So let's say you're a producer and you've had some sort of way that you've gone about getting to that high level of whether it be sales or just general operations or as an executive just really making great choices. Now, all of a sudden, if the tables are turned and you're not really familiar with how operations move forward, you either have to be coachable and be able to get there and adapt, or you very good chance that you're not just going to be left behind a little bit, but totally just be thrown off the rails. And I've seen this happen to myself several times, where I'm just sort of chugging along, I'm really doing great, I'm at the top of my class, and then something changes, or I have some sort of other kind of feeling, or I'm in a different place personally and emotionally, and that can really just throw me off track for the rest of, whether it be for school, semester-wise, or for the rest of the quarter. This brings me to my third way of coping with ADD in the workplace especially, and this is sort of a hit or miss kind of crutch that I use sometimes, and that is being medicated. For the longest time, ever since I was a kid, I hadn't been on medication for ADD. But when I was in middle school, I was kind of all of a mess and sort of just ran through the school like a tornado and get out of school suspension and all, everything you could think of, I got it, right? So of course, my parents really wanted me medicated, if not just for some peace and quiet. I know that when I was a kid and then when I was in school, they had me do Ritalin, which I don't think helped me focus and I don't think helped me get better grades at the time. But I also did Adderall and I think I did a whole host of other things. Thinking back, I don't know how much of that helped, how much of it hurt, but recently, after I think 24 straight years of not being medicated, I decided to take a second look at it, and these were the results that came back to me from the feedback that I got from my girlfriend and from my other friends. So just last year, I went to the doctor and I said, hey, look, I've had ADD this whole time. I've been getting by, I've been doing my best, and hey, yeah, I've had some success, but I'd like to jump back on the horse, take some Adderall and see if that really affects my ability to pay attention to the tiny details, because that might be something that I could benefit further on in the future. Now, after I was on this really, really low dose of Adderall for I think 2 weeks, I didn't especially notice too much of a change, but I did notice a change in how I was being received. For example, I'd be doing something or reading something and be fielding questions from my girlfriend or one of my friends and be able to engage with them while I was doing that thing. So, the ability to multitask was something that I guess I did get feedback from because I was able to do 2, sometimes 3 things at once and still maintain my composure, still maintain a state of engagement in each of the individual things. However, one big drawback is that you actually have to, take the medication every day and, you have to remember to take that medication, which is one of the side effects of ADD is you sometimes forget to do things like this. Also, Adderall in particular for me made me feel like I had some kind of like anxiety inside of my body, some sort of palpitations. I felt a little bit kind of, like hot And it's generally uncomfortable, and it would come and go, but it didn't feel like your normal body state, and I didn't especially like the feeling when I was on it. Now, the second medication that they gave me, I can't remember the name of it. It was supposed to be kind of like Adderall, but kind of like a time release Adderall, to where it wouldn't hit me all at once and give me that feeling of anxiety or palpitations or anything like that. However, even with 2 different insurances, copay for this medication was like $89, which is a lot of money, you know, if you think about it. It's not as much as many people pay, but it's no laughing matter. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, especially if you want to mitigate a lot of your expenses every month. But some of the main takeaways with having ADD, whether it be while you're working or in your personal life, is if you have ADD and you're working, check in with your surroundings, because your surroundings are going to be sort of a signal of how your state of mind is. I cannot stress enough how important it is to be present wherever you are. For me, when I'm feeling that I'm having an especially hard time with ADD, I check in with my surroundings. And I see that if the dishes haven't really been cleaned in a couple of days, if the bed really isn't getting made, or if the laundry isn't getting done, chances are there's something that I'm not doing or something that I'm missing out on also in my work life. This is a good litmus test for while you're working as well, because you can check in with your customer base and your lead base. So if you're having a hard time with ADD, I've seen things where a lot of my leads are getting taken away from me because I haven't checked in with them for a while. Or for example, one big thing that happens to me is on my customer relationship management software, I will set tasks to call or to email somebody, but I will put the wrong date. Like I'll put 3 days after the day I wanted. And so I just forget that actually I wanted to, call them on the 12th, when in fact I set it for the 15th. Well, if my customer relationship manager sees that I haven't talked to somebody in 7 straight days, it'll take the lead away from me, and that person will be like, well, where's the guy I was talking to, right? Also, when I'm doing my work and I'm making calls, I'm tapping in with customers, and I'm not hitting certain quotas for calls, or if I find that I drift off and I'm starting to play video games, you're going to immediately see that these quotas that are being set, that you're setting for yourself, are not getting met. That's a pretty good indication that you probably should check in with your ADD, see how you can get back to that place where you want to be. To bring you back to that example with my current company, since they are transitioning into that new way of calling, interacting with our clients, it is sort of giving me a hard time because I can't establish a new routine. I don't really know how to set up my day in order to maximize my effectiveness during this new transition into this new dialer system. As a result, I feel like I'm not hooked into the loop, and I do find myself drifting off, whether that be watching a YouTube video or wanting to take a nap, even though I really shouldn't be taking a nap. These are things that your body is telling you that you need to guide yourself back to the present and sort of hook yourself in with what you're doing at your job. And that's a great time to reach out to other people. Because if you reach out to other people when you're feeling that way, that's a great way to hold yourself accountable. It's a great way to get you back to where you want to be, to where you're performing the best that you can. And like I said, that hooks into that other way of getting yourself used to a new scenario, which is to be coachable. And you can't be coachable if nobody's coaching you. So be the person that reaches out when you're feeling the most distracted. So to sum everything up, if you are feeling like you're not where you want to be, you want to check in with your surroundings. Usually your surroundings are going to tell you whether or not you're being your best self. And if you haven't done your laundry in 2 weeks and it's hanging across, all of your different chairs and tables and stuff, or maybe you have a big laundry bag hanging in front of your front door reminding you it needs to get done, probably a pretty good indication that you are not where you want to be mentally. And that's a good indication that you need to be, one, reaching out to your peers personally and professionally to help keep you accountable, and then two, to help get yourself into a place where you can function in this new routine, or whatever the routine is that you want to function in, so you can exceed your current goals and quotas in your life and in your business. And being coachable is all about keeping people around who are better than you, who are smarter than you, or at least who you feel like can give you a lot of knowledge, right? So reach out to those people, keep yourself accountable. That's how I sort of guide myself back to where I want to be, and hopefully how I'm going to sort of pull myself back to the right direction with this major change and any other kind of major change in my life. So let me know the kind of tricks and tips that you use if you have ADD to keep on top of your life and your work. Or maybe you just don't. Let me know in the comments below and we can just both sort of commiserate with one another. Thanks so much. And again, guys, if you like this content, please go ahead and just hit me with that like. Hit me right in the face with the like. Smack around the subscribe button as well and the notification bell. Share it with all of your friends. Just hang it on your mantle. Just do everything you can with this video because I want to bring more content like this to you and to your friends, and it helps immensely with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.